My parents have a great marriage. My brothers and sisters are all married. Why do I have a hard time finding love? Hello, my name is Chengi. I am your dating and relationship expert here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy, where I teach you and my coaches and I teach you ladies how to present as a high value, high status, high worth woman that high quality and high value men find completely irresistible. If that sounds like you, do not forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Let's continue to build the momentum of this Black Swan Nation. Okie dokie, moving forward. Let's talk about why you seem like you are the weirdo in the bunch. You've been raised by parents that you perceive are happy and whose fascia looks right. They've been together for 100,000 years. You've only ever known them together. And of course, you have siblings who do quite well in their relationships. But for some reason, it doesn't seem to work for you. I have heard this over and over again. People who simply insist that the marriage they saw growing up was the marriage they desire, and their parents got lucky and they didn't get lucky. Now, let me not be bah humbug and be the one who being the bearer of bad news. But the reality of it is there are people who have been raised in fabulous families that are so happy and just happen to be unlucky. But that percentage is so minute that, to be honest, I am yet to see it, but I will not be a Debbie Downer. It is possible that these relationships exist. What I do know is that the things that are communicated to us as children often are caught, not taught. They're often energy signatures that we pick up as children. They're often signals that come to us in our infancy when we're not able to rationalize what is going on. We're able to feel very deeply the atmosphere in the home that we have been brought up to. We're able to look into the parent face and see those micro signals of the parent who is struggling, who is not happy. We see the struggle between our family and our relationships. And somewhere along the line, we pick up that pattern more profoundly, or we internalize what we're seeing and create a superego, or superego is developed around what we are seeing that says, I never want that relationship. So we're busy running away from, a relationship model, in which case we will see that relationship model over and over, because that is how our subconscious mind have programmed. That's the picture that is in our subconscious mind that tells us that is the relationship that we should be going for, because that is our normal. So we are, running away from that model because we don't want to be as unhappy as mom or dad. We want something different, but we don't know how to create something different. Or we are perpetually creating what we saw. But this time, we forget that some of our parents had no choice. They had no options but to stay. It was a matter of life and death. And so they stayed and made the best of it. You and I now live in a world where we don't have to suffer certain things. As women, we can free ourselves, emancipate ourselves from bad relationships and be okay, and be able to feed ourselves and be able to prosper nevertheless. The guys you want don't want you. And the ones you don't want simply won't leave you alone. They say you are picky and have impossible standards. Your partner has lost attraction for you and you have no idea if he will stay or progress the relationship. The harder you try, the further he pulls away. You are starting to think you are cursed, that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. The truth is, you are not uniquely broken. You are simply ill-informed, uneducated, and ill-equipped. All the things that can be fixed. I am offering you an all-access pass into the Black Swan Nation, where you will receive access to all of the courses, mentoring and coaching calls. We are also offering a 100% no quibble money back guarantee if the academy isn't a fit for you. What are you waiting for? Get smart, be educated, and level up. Do it absolutely right now by clicking the link below. And so obviously, maybe you are choosing better. Maybe you are single and going through it because you're choosing different, and that's okay. It's okay to want a model that is better than the one that you grew up seeing. But the most important thing is that a child's brain and mind and heart is created to believe that the parent is perfect in every way. Some of us grow to understand that our parents are not perfect humans. We grow to understand that they're flawed humans just like everybody else. But some of us really struggle to consider or even conceive that our parents were in some way, shape, or form flawed. I know somebody who would say, you know what, I spend my whole life waiting for my real family to come and get me. But in the same breath, my family was perfect. My mom and dad did everything perfectly. This means that this person is holding two beliefs simultaneously. The inner core essence of them knew there was something amiss. But because the parents did a good job of wrapping it up properly and making sure they didn't expose their kids to the arguments or the fight, she picked up on the fact that this energy doesn't feel like home to me. And so I am waiting for a place that feels like home. And a lot of parents made this mistake growing up. They make the mistake even now. Some of us as parents think, I'm going to keep the arguing and the fighting away from the children. We're going to do it at miles away so they don't hear. We're going to go downstairs and argue outside in the garden or whatever we're going to do. And we're going to keep the kids from hearing us fight. However, the energy that is being created by the mindsets of discontent and discomfort and pain and suffering is being read like writing on the wall by our children. And so you were no different. You are reliving the traumas. You're reliving the truth. And I want to give you a little bit of an assignment. If your parents are still alive and they are open and vulnerable, ask them what the experience of their marriage really was. Many of us grew thinking that our parents were happy until, I've had clients who eventually had a conversation with a parent. The parent said, I never had the guts to leave your father, or I never had the guts to leave your mother. And for the first time, they realized that their parents were actually really miserable, even though they played this part. I'm doing this video because I want us to realize that there are always undertones and layers to why things are the way that they are. That you are not cursed, you're not uniquely broken. They're just some narratives that you need to explore. Some stories you've been telling yourself that you probably need to tell yourself a different set of stories. Because we are creating the lives that we live by the stories that we're telling ourselves every single day. Now, sometimes it's easy. We can sit and we can do the narrative. We can look at the story for what it is and come to a conclusion. But in most cases, it is very difficult for us to truly be able to see the story that we're telling ourselves. Sometimes we need a coach, a counselor, a therapist to help us to unpack and co-regulate with us so we can be clear about the narrative we've been believing and have the courage and the confidence to create a different narrative. Once you can create a different narrative in your head, a better narrative in your head, a more powerful narrative in your head, and believe it wholeheartedly, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, in every way, you will then begin to create the relationship that you want. So if you're finding that everyone around you seems to be settled, your parents are still together, your siblings are married and coupled up, and you seem to be struggling, it means that you internalize your household differently from them. You internalize what was going on in your childhood differently from everybody else. The others maybe believed the lie. Maybe the others didn't quite pick up the lie. The others maybe normalized the dysfunction as normal in a relationship. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you internalize it different. So we need to really look at your stories. This is where I invite you to book a discovery call with myself or any of the coaches in the academy, because we're here to help you. Of course, you've already seen the advert to join the Black Swan Nation, which is a much cheaper way of engaging and becoming part of a community, and we can help you within the group context. I really hope that this video has brought clarity to somebody, because I know that this can be very, very confusing. And I was watching a movie on it the other day and I thought, oops, she just doesn't understand. There's so many of us watching this video or not who were raised in families, two-parent households who seemed to be right, and we wonder why we struggle in love and relationships. This is the reason. And so we can do a deeper dive and impact your life a little bit differently and stop these patterns so we can win in the game of love. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. And in the meantime, take care of you. Love you lots.